Chapter 1. God's Love for a Sinning World. For God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. John 3:16. Sin is the most expensive thing in the universe. Nothing else can cost so much. Pardoned or unpardoned, its cost is infinitely great. Pardoned, the cost falls primarily on the great atoning substitute. Unpardoned, it must fall on the head of the guilty sinner. The existence of sin is a fact everywhere experienced and everywhere observed. There is sin everywhere in the human race, and it is a dreadful plague. Sin is the violation of an infinitely important law, a law designed and adapted to secure the highest good of the universe. Obedience to this law is naturally essential to the good of all. Without obedience, there could be no blessedness, even in heaven. As sin is a violation of a most important law, it cannot be treated lightly. No government can afford to treat disobedience as a trifle, inasmuch as everything, the entire welfare of the government and of all the governed, depends upon obedience. The necessity of guarding law and of punishing disobedience is in proportion to the value of the interests at stake. The law of God will not be dishonored by anything he will do. It has been dishonored by the disobedience of man, so there is even more need that God should stand by it to retrieve its honor. The utmost dishonor is done to law by disowning, disobeying, and despising it. Sinning man has done all this. This law is not only good, but it is intrinsically necessary to the happiness of the governed. Therefore, it becomes of all things most necessary that the lawgiver should vindicate his law. He must do so by all means. Consequently, sin has involved God's government in a vast expense. Either the law must be executed at the expense of the well-being of the whole race, or God must submit to allow the worst results of disrespect to his law, results that in some form must involve a vast expense. For example, take any human government. Suppose the righteous and necessary laws that it imposes are disowned and dishonored. In such a case, the violated law must be honored by the execution of its penalty, or something else not less expensive, and probably much more so, must be endured. Transgression must cost happiness somewhere, and in a vast amount. In the case of God's government, it has been deemed advisable to provide a substitute, one who would answer the purpose of saving the sinner and also of honoring the law. This being determined, the next great question was how such an expense will be met. The Bible informs us how the question was in fact decided. It was to be by a voluntary enrollment or donation. Call it what you will, it was a voluntary offering. Who will be in charge of this? Who will begin where so much is to be raised? Who will make the first sacrifice? Who will take the first step in a project so vast? The Bible tells us, it began with the infinite Father. He made the first great donation. He gave his only begotten Son,